fellow Americans, I stand here with all that feel as I do, disgusted with this lie that Biden has been chosen, as if we all don't know the truth. And when one tries to deceive, we know that one can't get away with it. There will be a price to pay. The ones who are jumping for joy now are jumping toward the horror they will be in for, because I know that the promises being made from the left to the American people will never come to be. My friends of all colors, races, and religions, this is now our greatest fight since the Civil War. The battle of righteousness versus Satan. Yes, Satan. Because these leftists are evil, corrupt, and they want to tear down this nation. We must not allow this. We must fight this corruption that has taken over and fight for the good that seems lost. Let us give our trust to God and fight now for Trump's victory, because we all know this ballot count is corruption like they are. So let us not back down. Let us fight this fight as if it is our last fight on earth. As Muhammad Ali said, it's not over till the last punch you have. God bless.
Well, hello, and welcome to the League of Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism, where we attempt to apply logic and reason to religion and politics. I'm here with my wonderful, beautiful co-host, Christy Santiago.
Thank you, Mac. It's so good to be back with you this week. LEAH is wonderful, and I'm so proud to be a part of it, but it's just lacking, like my whole other half, when you're not here. So happy Friday, everyone. We do have a spectacular show tonight. We have some topics that are interesting and fascinating, and I can't wait to get into with Mac, because now I can actually have a conversation with another human, not just myself. And I'm looking forward to that. And a round of applause for how sexy Mac looks. He looks Mac-alicious with that haircut right now. Seriously. Lady boner.
Thank you, Christy. Yeah, I got myself a haircut. And I guess it raised me up on the hot scale.
It did. And as someone who does hair, that is a great cut for the shape of your face. It really is. Yeah. And it's kind of timeless. So.
Hot dog.
I like the classics.
Sweet.
Just like me.
I realized that, like, the part of my hair that gives me the most problems would look way better if it was gone.
Right.
So yeah, I just tried that out, and I think
gosh, what if we could do legislation and bills and regulations and everything like that? What if, like, hey, this isn't working. It's the worst part. And whenever we let this happen, it gets worse. What if we took that mentality? We could call it the HC 101 bill, the haircut 101 bill, and just, whack shit in half.
That'd be nice.
I'm dreaming, I know. You inspired me, though.
Raw. Thank you. But yeah, just a reminder to everyone. It's been like 3 weeks now since Christy and I have done a show together.
No.
It was just Christy. The week before that, it was just me. So yeah. Also to mention real quick, our man behind the scenes, Natural Witness. He is also with us today.
Lord and Savior, Lort, by the way, for people who are wondering, that is capital Lort, Lord, our Lord and Savior.
It sounds like a
Because why not? And it's so much fun. Try it. Say it out loud. I dare you.
try having the fun thing. Yeah, so all right. I want to kind of bounce back a little bit to we opened a little differently, if you didn't notice. I saw this little, I don't know, public service announcement from John Voight. And I was all like, WTF, hot damn what? Just alrighty then. That is something worth discussing.
Wow.
So I like Brantley's take down below. Wait, that's not Mac. Too hot. Too hot. Very nice. Mac got old, really old. MAGA old. Yeah. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, John Voight is Angelina Jolie's father. I know there's a reaction of her seeing this video. I don't know what that is yet. I wish I would have watched it before I went on, but I am curious to see what her views on his views are. Not that it matters too much because they're just two celebrities.
Right.
But
unless they're political.
Right. Like they're not Al Franken.
Right. Unfortunately, I miss him.
Yeah. But yeah, that whole little clip was something else. There were a lot of baseless claims. There were a lot of overblown, like, kind of calls to action, right? He said, if I remember exactly, this is the biggest, or this is like the most important thing since the Civil War. It got pretty fiery pretty fast. What do you say? Yeah. Oh, this is the greatest fight since the Civil War. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, hold on. I think I choked on my vodka at that point.
Yeah, like you won't like Hulk quick mad, ripping off shirt, getting ready to.
Yeah. Something I thought was okay. So one of the things that grinded my gears right away about this video was that these people who are doing this, saying Biden is the president and who voted for Biden, these people basically don't know what they're doing, and they're like causing their own doom. And I know from what, like he said, like experience or something, that these promises that are being made to the left will never come true. So what he is alluding to, Joe Biden will not deliver. 2, he's acting like these promises that the left, the ominous left, like the ominous they,
We're so scary, Matt.
that these are bad things, like national health care is bad, higher wages is bad,
scary.
ending wars is bad, and we'll get into that more later too tonight. All of these things are bad, but these are pipe dreams that the left have, that they're being promised, and that they'll never come true, even though they're good things.
Right.
They're just being promised good things, but these are bad things, but these are good. It's like the way he says it is like, these good things are bad things because opposite is evil. It's like a little bit of a mental roller coaster. If it sounded funny the way I said it, it's because it sounded funny the way he said it and implied it. And it's so weird. It's such a roller coaster to like get on that mind roller coaster track. It's strange. Like, do you know what I mean, Christy? It's just it sounds so good, but it's bad. And don't listen to these evil things that they're saying that you can obviously hear are evil, because they are obviously evil. But man, they sound good, don't they? And that's why it's so bad. It's like, hold on, what?
Yes, I think. And not, I think, I know if I sit down to talk to someone at a doctor's office, at physical therapy, at CVS, at a grocery store, and just talking about a policy, no names are mentioned, no candidates, not, this is even before the election, and just say it would be nice if, transportation, because, I do ride the bus too, was more like bigger cities, how they spend more of their taxpayer, we all pay taxes. The majority of the people that pay the most taxes, I wouldn't say the most in actual dollar amount, the most in the most people that pay taxes are the people who actually ride the bus. So it would be nice if that was looked after, and instead of having to walk 2 hours because there's just not a dependable bus and it broke down and we don't have enough to have a bus show up to take over that route. We just don't have that here, and they run every hour. So if you're trying to connect to another bus and your bus is late, well, that bus already left. So you have to wait another hour to connect, these things. So I think that, yeah, those things are important. And when talking about just those things, policy, I cannot get a person, whether conservative, far right, far left, middle, doesn't care, has never voted, they all agree on policies that help the people. So the sooner we can eliminate the, well, what is he, a Republican or a Democrat? Because people need to know that before that it's okay to support or even critique that person. They don't want to critique someone because of a D or an R. So
Yeah.
I think that's a problem.
I get that. And I mean, you kind of get that across the board with like any, especially like single issue thing, right? A lot of people agree that we don't have a good healthcare system, and that
we only have a private healthcare system, not a healthcare system.
right.
Yeah. And when
Yeah,
you think about it, and just the most layman, let's dumb this down as dumb as possible. There's medical help right here. All the medical help you could possibly need. Doctors, preventable care, all of that. Marika, fuck yeah. I love your cup. It's amazing, Mac.
I've been waiting to show this to you for like a week and a half.
Marika, fuck yeah. Right. We should take all that shit back. Eagles, flags, let's take that shit back as leftists. It's ours now, bitches.
So there you go, everyone. I've been really excited to show this to everyone, especially Christy.
Love it. I can't even.
I looked up, saw that. I'm like, I hate that. Oh, God, I love that.
I love it. And we have a question in the chat, and it is of utmost importance.
Questions are evil. We don't answer questions.
Can you see those things, Smitty?
Was that the question?
Uh-huh. And it's really thick.
I heard, did Mac have the Ovid? I see that question. I don't think so.
It's massive. It's an 8.
An
So
8?
it's, yeah. Like what they normally pierce tongues with are 14 because of how thin they are so that they can heal. And I got tired of how long it was. I kept getting shorter and shorter. So now it just literally just hugs my tongue. So I don't have to worry about moving around or spaghetti getting wrapped around it because that's aggravating as HE double huggy sticks. Really is. Nothing else really got in the way of eating except for biscottis.
Yeah, I can imagine that would get
So
frustrating.
yes, and it has been pierced since my 18th birthday, and I can take it out 6-7 months without putting anything in it and push it right back through. So
Neat.
but I'm also 44 and I got it done on my 18th birthday, so I think it's pretty much a part. It's just another hole in my head. Just like my dad always say, you need that like another hole in your head. I'll prove to you, Dad.
Got another hole in my head. Can change me as person.
And I know it's really hard to see, but it is a star with a little diamond in the middle because I am obsessed with stars. I think that who wouldn't want to gaze at them? And if we didn't have TV or electricity at all, that's what the heck we would be doing still. So, and fucking, of course. Humans have always done that. You know,
Yeah,
hopefully. Love, not war. We're trying to promote love, not war.
true that.
True
We got
that.
enough. We have enough people like promoting war. Speaking of which, since we're on progressive and moderate, like versus like moderate values. So it seems that, and I'll start this with
Allah.
a headline. Trump listens to Jimmy Dore? Question mark.
I
What?
saw that.
Did you see that? Isn't that crazy? So um, it
Yes.
looks like, and I've heard a couple reports of it now that
Yes. It's same
Trump is
here. Three supporting other sources that Trump listens to or watches Jimmy Dore show.
yeah, and he said
I mean,
that
he's funny.
he is funny. He is, and very accurate on most accounts. So it seems that Trump is pulling a lot of troops out of Afghanistan per Jimmy Dore, because Jimmy Dore made a really good case on Tucker Carlson's show, that hey, if Trump wants to go down in the history book, he should pull troops out of Afghanistan because he said he was going to do it. Why don't you fucking like this is something that he can just do. He has the power to do this, unlike building a wall. He can just pretty much snap his fingers, pull them all out. And he, I think the number I saw was leave 2,500 troops in Afghanistan.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
So taking out most. I'm not sure how many there's that are in there right now. How many troops are in Afghanistan? Let's see if that's the right number. Nope, that's not the right number. Why did I say it right away? Currently, there are 4,500 to 5,000 troops in Afghanistan, and more than 3,000 in Iraq currently. 4 days ago, according to AP. So pulling out a few thousand, basically cutting it down half, which is not out of Afghanistan, but that certainly is something. And that's a good thing, right? Because
Yeah, I don't care who does it. It's a good thing.
right, we want to be out of Afghanistan for the two reasons. Mostly, we've been there for 20 years, and two, we don't fucking know why. Like the Afghanistan papers a year ago came out and said, we don't know what the fuck we doing here. That's just the official point, man. Like officials don't know what the objective is that we need to do to be done there. But God, don't tell the media that. Don't do lie. Lying's cool. We've done that for like 18 years. That's fine. Don't tell the media that. That's the official from the Pentagon. Like shit. Excuse me. So getting out of there would be freaking fantastic. And if Trump wants to either get us all the way out or halfway out from where we are now, that's great. Now, the funny thing about that is CNN, along with others, those who have Trump derangement syndrome, we put a flashy thing on the screen right now, Nacha, that I should have had you made like 2 days ago?
100 years ago.
Trump derangement syndrome, and then the definition.
There's a big fat warning right across the screen. Warning.
For those of you who don't know what Trump derangement syndrome is basically being so obsessed with Trump bad, Orange Man bad, that whatever he does is bad, right, and he never does anything good. So
think Rachel Maddow.
Rachel Maddow. Good example. Whatever he does, even if it is good, or any like Democrat has previously held the position of what Trump is doing currently at the time, now bad because Orange Man done did it. All right, Trump derangement syndrome. That is what it is. Did you type all that up, Nacha? Because I want that one. I'm kidding. That's fine.
Turn your camera. You can do it.
Point being, people who have Trump derangement syndrome, very nice, Christy, you fixed it, are saying, holy cow, what is Trump doing? He's pulling troops out of Afghanistan. We don't like, that's a bad idea. All of the generals and people who know what's going on in Afghanistan, who we have just mentioned, are saying this is a bad idea. We want to bring our troops home, but not in body bags. We can't just bring them home. We're putting our troops' lives in danger. That is the wackadooest, bullshittiest bullshit that you can hear on the news.
It's malarkey.
It is malarkey. One of the first things that Christy ever pointed out to me, when she was showing me her side of politics and media, is look at the credits that rule on CNN and MSNBC, right? Who's in those credits? Who funds these networks? Christy, can you give us a few examples?
I sure can. Raytheon,
Raytheon.
Boeing,
Boeing.
a lot of tech companies that have to do with, using machines instead of people, which I'm not saying is wrong or moral or immoral. It's either. It's just the way that it is, and machines will replace. So a lot of those names, banks, big
Big.
conglomerate banks, and also people, individual people, wealthy people, Koch brothers. And if it didn't say Koch brothers, which most of them don't, it said one of their LLCs, or name one. They have so many of them. Americans for Prosperity is one of the funders. Well, Americans for Prosperity is a think tank for the Koch brother, because there's only one left.
Yeah.
Because time is ticking.
Time has taken. Thank goodness on
Yeah.
that.
I hope he went with his lord.
So the
His lord would not be, if any of that is true, which I'm not saying that it is, or even for a moment glimpsing a thought of a second that it is. However, he did. And if any of that is true, he is not up. He went down.
he's done up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt it.
Yeah, and
For all
so
my dyslexic friends.
say what now?
No doubt it.
No. Yeah, keep that camera down.
Well, I mean, it could go down right here, but then I was told, whoa, too many boobs. So, like I have more than two or something. That's too many.
Too many. You're gonna get looked at more than me, anyways.
I don't know, that haircut. I mean, you need a fan in front of you, and you can be Mac-once for the rest of the evening.
Say, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Heard that one.
You can say, all single fellas, all single fellas, all single fellas. Yeah,
I've
I
gone
need
with
this
the,
to happen in my
with the
lifetime.
Mac-alicious before, but the Mac-once, that one's.
I do like Mac-once. Yeah.
We have to change my name here.
I'm
Okay.
completely ridiculous, so don't take me seriously.
Why would we?
Good. I'm in the right spot. Back
Yeah.
to the news.
Yeah, back. So yeah, back
Don't
in the back.
take me seriously. Here's some more facts.
Yeah, just the point that businesses like Raytheon
Right.
that make weapons fund CNN.
Yes.
There's an incentive to be biased on any anti-war rhetoric, right? So there's not going to be any real anti-war rhetoric when it comes to these big names in news if some of the big investors are weapon manufacturers.
The hard part, Mac, is when I have these conversations with people who watch many different news sources and try to be honestly as informed as possible, but they're older. Their answer to me pointing that out and them taking that information in is, but they don't lie to me. Like when I watch the news, I can look up what they're telling me, and it's true. And that's the part that's so hard for me to explain to them that you're right. They are telling you what's going on. However, what they're never going to tell you, or what they're never going to be critical of, are things that matter that have to do with wars in other places, or weapons manufacturers, or for private prisons. If for private prisons are making donations to any governor or LLC or cable network, I think that should explain a halfway logical mind enough to say, okay, that doesn't mean I'm saying never ever watch CNN again. I watch CNN today. I pop in CNN to see what they're saying, and then I switch over to local news. I want to know what local news is saying, and then I do the weekend shows. I go back and forth. I think that it's important to get your information from a lot of places and to know what the mainstream sources are saying. However, independent investigative journalists are going to be the ones who are going to go out in the field and are going to be able to tell you that narrative that you are hearing night after night on your news channel that does not lie to you is not telling you the whole truth. They're telling you that there was a shakeup in Israel and in Gaza. Gaza shot a rocket and Israel defended itself, and there were 108, killed in Palestine and 500 injured. And in Israel, there were 2 injured and none killed. Like, that's the information we're getting on CNN, even MSNBC. But use your noggin and look into that. Go to sites that are critical of the site you just watched. Read newspapers that are critical of the newspaper you just read. And I'm not saying go loony bin, don't pick up the Inquirer on the way out of the grocery store, or do if that's what you're into. But make sure that you're skeptical. That's what this community is about, skepticism. And as a humanist, and humanism is here for me, that's the top. Skepticism is right underneath it, because without it, I wouldn't have my beliefs. I wouldn't have Mac. I wouldn't have a platform to be able to share these things with people. And be skeptical. I heard a woman being interviewed at the Million MAGA rally that, like, how many people showed up again? Don't worry about it. It will take too short to count. It doesn't matter. So this woman said that she's worried because when she turns on Facebook, she knows that if she likes something, that Facebook is going to continue to send her things that confirm that narrative. And so she's going to believe deeper and deeper and deeper in that narrative, because all she's seeing is stuff that confirms her beliefs. So if that's happening everywhere now, she was a conservative, a Q. She was brought there because she didn't research, because she doesn't know how to research, because she doesn't understand that finding the critiques of your beliefs is how you become a logical person in your beliefs. However, she did understand that if she's getting that means in her, her words, the far radical left are getting that too. And that's just going to create problems. She, and as far as I know, more of her and us and them than there are people who wouldn't want to change this. So if people I vehemently disagree with, someone like her who is at a MAGA rally, who agrees that this should not be legal, that confirmation bias, I think that there shouldn't be an algorithm like that when it comes to ideology and philosophy it can be in books when you're buying books to read. But I don't think that if those books are college level books and you're taking econ, well, guess what? You should also be able to even know about Marx, even know about all of these other economic structures which aren't taught in this country. And I know that's a little off of what we were talking about, but I also think that it's very important. If this conservative woman is pointing this out all on her own and then saying she researches everything, and then she ended it with question everything. And I thought, I love that. However, over the years, I've learned that I don't say it anymore. I do not say it anymore. And the reason why I don't say it anymore is because what it's become online is don't believe anything. So I question everything is great. We can talk that in our, and I'm not saying anyone can't say whatever the fudgesicle they want to say. They can. But question everything needs to be followed up with. And it's so much fun to question things, to write down what you're looking into and dive deep into it or something, because question everything to someone who doesn't know how, and it's not their fault. They're a victim of the education system here. Question everything means that, you can't trust anything. And so we need to come up with something different, I think, than question everything.
Or just take it back.
Take it back. I think I'm skeptical, and I would like to find out. Let me Google that for you. Okay, I had to be a teeny little bit of salt.
Spice it up.
That
Salt
was
it
my
up.
that was my saltiness of the night. Let me Google that for you.
There you go. So while we're still on this topic, and I know we've bounced back and forth a lot, but that's the nature of this beast here. I wanted to point out a couple things, and I'll just take the time to point out one, because like war, both parties agree. I think even like the Republicans agree, like 68%, that like we need to get out of these never-ending wars. Like between party lines, there's a strong advocacy for it. So that would be a populist thing, right? That would be something that both parties want. Now, something else like that is Medicare for all. Something like a single-payer healthcare system for our government. Well over 50% of the American people want that. And we don't have it, which is weird. But the government doesn't do what we want it to. But this is kind of the crux of what I wanted to cover tonight, because progressive values, when Christy and I talk about single issue things, a lot of the progressive single issue things are right down dab in the middle of where Americans are across the board, like from left to right, all the way across. People want cheaper healthcare, and they want that like through the government, being able to just have the government pay for at least some of it. And that could even be like a public option. Point being, They want to stop stupid, endless wars. They want a single-payer system. They want money out of politics. These are progressive values because progressive values are kind of like fucking in the middle. They're not super far left, right? But if you ask anyone in the Democratic Party, those are far left values. If you ask John Voight, whose face we saw at the beginning of this episode here, that's far left stuff. That's evil. Sounds good, but that's bad. So I wanted to
you see that, right? It sounds good, but it's bad.
Sounds good.
Bad for whom?
Bad for business. Bad for capitalism, really. And I don't want to dive too deep down this rabbit hole tonight because we do have another topic that I'm keeping Christy from right now. But
that's all right. I just wanted people to think that in their head, bad for whom?
Bad for whom?
Right.
Biden won the presidential election. It is pretty secure. It's not a landslide victory. He underperformed according to polls. But he won. Down ballot, speaking of those Democrats who say that we're too far left and we cost them the election, hold on, we didn't. Biden won, right? Well, down ballot, the Democrats didn't do very well. They lost seats in the House. So let me look at my screenshots I took last week because I was going to go through this for you guys last week. So what we have, the House is 213 on the Democratic side and 194 on the Republican side. We lost 4 seats, the Democrats did, and the Republicans gained 5. That isn't winning, right? If Trump's so bad and the Republicans are so bad, why did we lose seats in the House?
Because COVID. It just is. People can't knock door to door. I mean, I remember back in 2016, I got knocked on the door knocked all the time, a couple times a week, about people wanting to talk about Trump or people wanting to talk about who else? Jill Stein, Hillary Clinton, Gary, whoever the other guy was, the one that you voted for. All the time. And they couldn't do that. And locally, if presidential elections have so much money thrown behind them, people are tired when they get home. They throw on their TV, those commercials come on, they see what is told to them as it's told to them. When they get on the bus in the morning, there's ads all the way around it. Or when they're driving to work, they hear ads on their radio. And so when they get in that voting booth, if they didn't have time to do their research, they're going to go down ballot and they're going to vote with the first couple that are easy because they know who they were voting for. The rest, I'm sure that people get in there and they have their phone out and they're trying to find out. Because here in this state, down ballot, a lot of them don't have a D or R after them. It's just the name. So they're trying to find out who is who. It's COVID and this part's going to suck. Us, the people. We are not doing our part of exciting our own communities within locally, our own communities. And, we don't have to rent out a place. We can go to a park and stand up on, have 4 speakers. There's 4 picnic tables. We stand up on them, social distance, everyone wear masks, and locally talk about the things we want to change. And if we get involved, then we get to be the ones that make the decisions. Because I hate to break it to you, someone is making decisions whether you're involved or not. So
Yeah. And
that's
so
why.
I think that's really true. I don't disagree. The other side of that, though, one of the other big reasons, and I think you'll agree, is like just the messaging in general for the Democrats. They, like Joe Biden,
Yes.
they don't promise like anything, right?
Yeah.
Trump, bad. That's easy, right? It's plain politics. What is easy, right? It's this is normal strategy. This is business as usual.
Right.
Don't promise Medicare for all. That's too hard. Don't promise higher wages. Don't promise that. That's kind of hard, right? And Republicans don't like that. We're not going to get those votes. You're not going to get Republican votes anyways. They already have Republicans for that, right? They forget that Republicans can also vote down ballot. Oops.
And they know who they're going in to vote for and why. Single issues. This guy will approve this boat port that we need for so-and-so's, real estate company. Yes, they're on it. We don't own stock in country clubs and sailing groups, and we just don't have that. So we're not involved in that stuff. They are. So we have to fight back with more of us than them.
Yeah. Now, looking at Biden won. Biden won because the COVID thing, right? Because that was such a fucking war on the Republican side, right? If Trump handled COVID better, I think, and more people think than me, that Biden would at least have had a harder time. But he might have just fucking lost if Trump handled
People that are much smarter than me agree with that.
Yeah. So even Republicans are just like, wow, Trump, stupid. Trump did stupid. Can't handle this. I have people in my family who died because he didn't handle this properly. I love Republicans, but that Trump, though. I guess I have to go for Biden. You know what? They're not too different anyways, but at least he would have handled this better. And no, we didn't miss a topic change. Sorry, Natcha.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, almost done. So that said, because we lost some seats in the House, and the Senate is like so fucking close right now. It's 49 and 49. Is that it? 48 and 48 in the Senate, and we're waiting on a little bit. And
Kamala will be that one that can come in and unrig a tie. So if we can get it so that it's equal, which doesn't look like it's going to happen. However, if we did, she would be the one that would come in, as Mike Pence has been for the past 3.5 years.
But if
like that,
but Christy, but if we lose the Senate again because we didn't fucking run on shit, then this is the perfect excuse for the Biden administration to not get anything done. Well, it's the Senate's fault. we couldn't pass anything because the Senate wouldn't allow it. Like, we would have worked harder, but we knew we wouldn't do anything. So we, hands tied, vote
Yeah.
for Democrats next time. Womp, womp.
Right.
Right? That's where it's going.
Yeah.
So
Every time they sell out, they lose a little bit more of their backbone.
yeah.
And they're very wealthy, so they've sold out a plethora of times.
They have.
Yeah.
So Ralph Nader posted something on Twitter, and I thought it was worth sharing. It was on November 5th, so this was a couple weeks ago. And you can share it, yeah. Other than Biden defeating Trump, the Dems had a bad election against the GOP, lost 5 seats in the House, failed to take the Senate, and did not flip one state legislator. Against the most corrupt, bungling, incompetent, lying president, the well-funded Democratic Party failed the country.
To add to that, I do know that for a fact, AOC has said that those particular losses that would have went blue, had the DNC, the DCCC, actually cared enough to invest in some of that taxpayer money they hoard in daily from taxpayers, even though they're a private corporation, that their whole purpose is to funnel in money from people to help the progressives win seats. They did not help not one of them.
They blacklisted them instead.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
So, yeah, this should have been a layup. It was like we had such shit representing the country for the last 4 years, and you heard about it all the time, like on Stephen Colbert, but we still wouldn't offer anything, right? If all we can do is point the finger, what's that old saying? When you point your finger, there's like four more pointing back at you, or 3 more pointing back at you. I don't know. If you really turn that thumb and your legs down below, look.
When you point a finger at someone, you have 4 more pointing back at you.
Yeah, I think I've heard 3 or 4. But anyway,
I had my church teacher tell me that. Alone in a corner where I had to sit for 30 minutes.
Well,
I must have been bad.
So I wanted to point this out. We didn't do very well down ballot, and it's been all over the news that this is the progressives' fault, because we wouldn't shut up about Medicare for all. We wouldn't shut up about defunding the police and shit like that, right? All this progressive bullshit, says Bill Maher and people on CNN.
Oh, Bill Maher.
What's really funny about that is, do you know how many people in the Democratic Party ran on defund the police?
Yes, a lot.
No one.
A lot. You're saying no one?
One. Like one person specifically.
Wait, at what level? Because I have seen the stack of people who are running that's one of the things they checked. No PAC money, no, and defund the police was one of them, and it was hundreds. But that might be like Justice Democrats and local races. So
yeah.
Okay,
so
that's why
I was going to point out Cori Bush.
All right, Baker.
She really did push that.
I love her.
He didn't lose. That's weird. If that's costing them votes, why did she win?
Because she's a bad bitch.
She's
Yeah.
a good
No,
bitch.
she is. And if she ever hears this, girl, you are a hero to women and men and little girls and little boys and little people who haven't decided yet on what sex they want to be. You are a hero to all of us. And I am so glad that you are and have been chosen to be a leader for the people. They deserve you. And it's rare in this country that the people get a leader that they deserve. And Cori Bush, kick ass, man. Take names. I'll come get that T-shirt.
Yeah, she's really awesome. I'm really excited to see what she does when she really starts like getting into her job. The other thing that I mentioned, Medicare for all, healthcare. Here's a fun graph. I'm going to put this in the chat. Here you be. So you'll like this. I'm sure you've seen it already, Christy. Boop. All right. I'm going to count this. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 Democratic incumbents in Congress who ran here. And this is interesting. This graph shows, did they support Medicare for all? Did they win the election? How is their district leaning? And when they first won? And this is very telling. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of them did not support Medicare for all.
Wow.
8 of them, the same 8 even, lost their reelection. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of the 16 who ran on supporting Medicare for all. And there are 8, the same 8 even, who won their reelection campaign. So if Medicare for all talk is costing the Democratic Party, why is everyone who supports Medicare for all winning and the opposite actually losing? See what doesn't make sense here? The argument on its face is a bold-faced lie. Like, it's not hard to find out who won an election and what they were running on, right? So who are you going to believe? You lying eyes or fucking CNN, right? This is why it gives Trump credence when he says fake news, CNN, MSNBC, it's all fake news, because they do lie a lot. They really push narratives, and you really can't trust a lot of what bigger multimedia media.
We have Trump TV coming to look forward to.
Yeah, we got that.
If you haven't heard, so.
Yeah, and you know what? It could be a good news source. They could say more true things than false things. They could do that. They could say just as many true things as CNN and then say just as many lies, and maybe those lies will be worse.
Their lies would be worse, because think about all the things that Trump shares on Twitter, even though it has been debunked.
Yeah.
So
And
at least CNN doesn't take, here's a video that was debunked 2 years ago and play it and say, this just happened today. At least I'm the bar's low. And I am not a CNN cheerleader at all. I think Legacy News got the wake-up call that it's needed. And if they take this opportunity that has been given to them, they are going to help save our democracy. I really do. If they let it slide, it's on to different things. I mean, we used to get news by pamphlets that went around, one book to each city that we would read, when the police would go to sleep, and we'd hide them little pamphlets. My favorite founding father, wrote Common Sense, and everyone should read that, and that would have to be hidden. And then we got printing presses, and now we have internet. We will find ways to get truth to each other. But someone who has frauded so many people out of money and not paid workers, I'm sorry, but I can't play devil's advocate with a grifter. A grifter is going to grift. And I'm not saying he's unredeemable. I'm saying it would literally take a Lort level miracle for him to become a good person, in my opinion. He would have to do so much good and do none of it for himself. He would have to do everything he's doing because it's the right reason. Because it's the right reason. When you do something for someone because it's the right reason, that's the only reason that is needed. And Trump, I don't think that part of his brain developed, or it got fetal alcohol syndrome, or his dad's sperm was old, or he was just a spoiled brat raised with a silver spoon up his butt. That happens to a lot of people that don't turn out to be horrible people. So I can't say it's one thing. I can say he's authoritarian and a bully, and I can say that I hugged my crying 22-year-old daughter when all of the states came in, because she and her friends, this was, she's voted, she's 22, but this was her first presidential election, and she was elated that her and her friends wouldn't have to be a part of helping women find not legal but safe abortions, because people are going to hunch. Hunching is what humans do. They hunch this way, they hunch this way, they do it this way, they do it this way, they do it this way. They hunch. People are always going to hunch. So when people hunch, and sometimes they're drinking, they get pregnant because they weren't being smart. I'm not saying that's a good idea, and I do not suggest it. However, I know people who have had the injection. They're protected. They're not supposed to be able to get pregnant, and they have 3 or 4 kids at home, and they're themselves and their husband are like, no, we can't. 18 years plus college is very, very much more expensive than the tablets that she had to take. And because it was only like 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks, I think, and to this day, she says it was a great choice. So hugging my daughter when Biden won, I will always remember that. That doesn't mean I have to like Biden. I don't at all. I'm going to be fighting him the whole time. However, the younger generation is who is inheriting what we're doing right now. So let's do the right thing.
Do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Humanist, for God's sake.
That's right.
Don't stop it, Nacho. Don't stop it. I was just quoting us. Okay, so I'm done because, well, that's a good way to end it right there. But also, yeah, point done made.
Yeah.
Christy, would you like to take us to our next topic?
Mac, I sure would. Okay, so Trump. Trump has, let's see, literally no legal case to win diddly do here or in any state, including Timbuktu. It rhymed. I had to. What was I supposed to do? So there is this examiner, which I think is pretty informational for us to just have some information. However, even though it comes from the outside of the Four Seasons garage parking lot between like other stores, not the Four Seasons Hotel. I just wanted to share that because I think it's funny and I'm a little bit salty. So, okay. As President Donald Trump continues to push falsehoods about the election, his legal team has so far failed to gain any traction in court without evidence of widespread fraud, which experts from around the world, not just here, have widely agreed does not exist. Despite that, Trump and his Republican allies are pressing forward with several cases aimed at blocking or delaying certification. If election results in key battleground states won by President-elect Joe Biden, so if they've been, if Biden won, depending on the situation, his lawyers are to either block or delay the confirmation. That's not fraud to anyone? Like anyone at all? Okay. I just wanted to like make sure that you heard that part. It's kind of important. Republicans are complaining that, among other things, their observers weren't allowed to properly review the processing of ballots. So, I thought that was pretty interesting. And then I went to, let me go to this little special thing I sent myself because I thought it would be important. Few legal wins so far as Trump team hunts for proof of fraud. And I mean hunts for fraud. They have volunteers because, you know, those maggots, MAGA wearing hats, maggots. Work with me. It's not derogatory. I'm trying to, you know, be cool and hip and put words together. So
Yeah, mash them up.
yeah, smash them up. So the maggots were out there. No, if you voted for Trump, I do not consider you a maggot or a bad person. I feel that you are a victim and you are welcome to stay and become my friend and tell me all kinds of things and we will correct each other because maybe I'm wrong and you're right and you could be the one to fix me and find the Lord for me. So anyway.
Wait, did you just say I'm right? I don't hear that often. Is that for me?
You are so right. You're left.
I like that. Oh, shit. I have a thing for you later. Remind me about left.
Okay, suck now. All right. Okay. So, all right, I'm a little uncomfortable. Let me fix this and get a little bit comfy. Okay. Philadelphia. During Pennsylvania court hearing this week on one of the many election lawsuits brought by President Donald Trump, a judge asked a campaign lawyer whether he had found any signs whatsoever of fraud from among the 592 ballots that have been challenged. The answer was simply no. Trump has not been so curious Trump has not been so cautious, insisting without evidence that the election was stolen from him, even when election officials nationwide from both parties and independents say there has been zero conspiracy. On Wednesday, Trump took aim. Hold on, let me see if I can make this. Sometimes I just have to wiggle some bits. There, how's that? My computer just likes it if I wiggle my bits for it, so it's definitely a male. Wait, that was sexist. I'll have to rethink this. Okay, we'll go back to educating ourselves on this. On Wednesday, Trump took aim at Philadelphia, the Democratic stronghold that helped push President-elect Joe Biden over the 270 electoral college votes needed to win the race. The president accused a local Republican election official, Al Schmidt, of ignoring a, quote, mountain of corruption and dishonesty. Twitter added a label that said the election fraud claim is disputed. So all that means is that anytime anyone retweets or talks about or adds a link to Trump saying that there is a mountain of corruption and dishonesty, Twitter will then attach a label underneath it that said the election fraud claims are being disputed and are they're not true or false, people. It's called the null hypothesis. That's where we're at right now. Innocent until proven guilty, except for it's Trump. So it's
kind of guilty.
Orange until proven guilty. I don't know. I'm trying to be as humanist as possible.
Caught orange-handed.
Oh my God. If Trump and Giuliani had to stand on the side of a hot road in Florida, one would be dripping orange and one would be dripping brown.
Look, it's not that we caught him red-handed. It's just that we caught him in the bathroom with yellow soap. Kind of weird.
Dude, your tan's falling off. Your gray hair is delightful. Maybe you should rinse the rest of that out. I don't know how I would. Okay. I'm a firm believer if you're hanging out with your friends and you walk out of a bathroom with toilet paper on your shoe and none of them said anything, you ain't got no friends. That you ain't got no friends. So Trump walking all the way up an airport steps with toilet paper hanging from his shoe lets me know that he doesn't have any real friends. If you were on stage as the top 10 most powerful men on the planet because you're in Trump's administration or whatever, and you have the swamp thing dripping down your face, I just want you to know you should reevaluate your life because you ain't got no friends. Because a friend would never let another friend go out like that. They just wouldn't. They'd say, hold on, let me handle that for you. Kick ass. You know, high five, elbow bump. They'd say, okay, go on out. You guys got this. Close up. All right. So
The toilet paper thing was pretty funny, though.
it was hilarious. Trump loyalists have filed at least 15 legal challenges in Pennsylvania alone in an effort to reclaim the state's 20 electoral votes. There is action too in Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, and Michigan. In court, his lawyers must walk a precarious line between advocating for their client and upholding their professional oaths so that they don't lose their law license and get debarred. Legal ethicists and pro-democracy activists have questioned the participation of lawyers in this quest. As Trump clings to power and President-elect Joe Biden rolls out his agenda, this may be an attempt to appease the ego in chief, but there are real-world consequences for real-world people that come out of that. I agree. And that was said by Loyola Law School professional Justin Levitt, a former Justice Department elections official. Quote, "The attempt to soothe the president's ego is not a victimist crime. It hurts the entire country." Schmidt told CBS, quote, 60 Minutes, end quote, that this office has received death threats simply for counting votes. Think about that. They're getting calls nonstop because they are counting votes. In a democracy, the only way to know who won the most votes is to count them. Quote, "From inside looking out, it feels all very deranged," Smith said in an interview that aired Sunday. Counting votes cast on or before Election Day by eligible voters is not corruption or corrupt. It is not cheating. It is called democracy. That's right. Untold voters, however, are accepting Trump's claim about a rigged election, and they are donated to his legal fund. A law firm involved in the election suits, Ohio-based Porter Wright Morris, an author, appeared to take down its Twitter feed Tuesday after it was inundated with attacks. I'm sure they were attacks that rhymes with facts. The firm declined to address questions from the Associated Press about the feed in a statement issued Wednesday that said it had a long history of election work. A second firm, Jones Day, said it was representing not the Trump campaign, but the Pennsylvania GOP in a litigation before the Supreme Court over the 3-day extension to accept mail-in ballots. This can go to the Supreme Court, guys, which means what? 6-3. Ponder on that for a minute. I'm not done. Nationally, the strategy is being run by Trump allies such as Rudy Giuliani, the president's personal attorney, political operative Dave Bossie, who is not an attorney, and Jay Sekulow, who is lead lawyer during the president's impeachment trial this year. Bossie recently tested positive for COVID-19. Election law expert Rick Henson said he would expect to see top drawer Supreme Court litigators involved, such as two former solicitors general, Paul Clement or Theodore Olson, if Trump had a strong case. Quote, "There are certain names of elite lawyers that signal to the Supreme Court that something is serious," end quote, said Hazen, a professor at the University of California at Irving. Instead, quote, "the campaign announced that it was putting Rudy Giuliani and David Bossie in charge," end quote. The low point of the effort undoubtedly came Saturday, when Giuliani held a news conference inside Four Seasons. I'll say that correctly. When Giuliani held a news conference outside Four Seasons Total Landscaping in Philadelphia, just after the race was called for Biden. This Four Seasons Total Landscaping was in the back of the building so that clients didn't, have to go in and out through this tiny little whatever they were having. Biden, after it was called for Biden, standing in the shadow of a sex shop on one side and a crematorium on the other side, just down the road from the state prison, Giuliani called a disgruntled poll watcher to the microphone to discuss the shenanigans in the city. Political observers turning in from nearby Trenton, New Jersey, immediately recognized the man as a convicted sex offender and perennial candidate for office. So, this guy who is supposed to be watching polls for Rudy Giuliani goes to go on stage, and immediately half of the people that are there to listen to this speech are like, you're a kitty diddler and a sex offender. And the other half are like, hey, but aren't you running for state in my district? Yeah, that happened. So, another head scratching moment as the campaign tried to stop the vote count in Philadelphia last week. A judge tried to get to the bottom of a Republican complaint over observers' access to the room where election workers were processing mail-in ballots. Quote, I am asking you, as a member of the bar of this court, are people representing Donald J. Trump for president campaign in that room, end quote, U.S. District Judge Paul S. Diamond asked. Quote, there's a non-zero number of people in the room, campaign lawyer Jerome Marcus replied, end quote. Diamond made two sides forge an agreement and threatened to charge them without contempt if they didn't keep the peace. Some of the suits filed on Trump's behalf appeared to be hastily thrown together with spelling errors as, get this, they meant to say ballot, which is B-A-L-L-O-T. These grown people who are trying to be leaders of the free world wrote B-A-L-L-E-T. Ballet. So, with spelling errors as ballet for ballot and procuratorial mistakes throughout and little to back up their claims, especially having zero evidence, judges have been skeptical. In Michigan, Judge Cynthia Stevens dismissed right away one filing as inadmissible hearsay within hearsay. So there was somebody telling another person, and that person told someone, and that person that they told was willing to come forward. And that's just not how things work. So that's called hearsay. And even if it was closer, like I told Stacy something, and then Stacy's told someone at work, and that person at work went and told the cops, that's still hearsay. So when Trump's lawyers appealed, the court kicked the filing back as defective. The campaign has scored just one small victory, allowing their observers to stand a little closer to election workers processing the mail-in ballots in Philadelphia. But the litigation keeps coming, usually centered on accusations from partisan poll watchers who have no auditing role in the election, that something untoward may have happened without evidence to back it up. Senate Majority Leach, I should call him Leach McConnell, Republican, Kentucky, insisted the president is, quote, 100% within his rights to look into fraud allegations and pursue his legal options. Attorney General William Barr has authorized the Justice Department to investigate, quote, clear and apparently credible allegations of irregularities. So if anything is irregular, go ahead and check that out. Either way, experts doubt any of the suits can reverse the outcome in one single state alone, like at all. Experts are saying that he cannot change the outcome in a state in our union, let alone the election. So not just the state, but he cannot change the election. Trump aides and allies have privately admitted as much among themselves, suggesting the challenges are designed more to stoke his base. So, as a lefty who wants everyone to live in peace and harmony, I say let them tell each other whatever they want to tell each other. And then now it's time for us to heal. I disagree with people to the point sometimes where I think there's no way for them to not be a bad person to have those thoughts. Like, it's okay to marry a 9-year-old as long as you wait until she has her first period to marry her. To me, you are a bad person. I have to bring that back because I'm not in their shoes. Now, that doesn't mean that I think that that's right and anything would change my mind about that. But being able to be in their shoes and the only culture they've known their whole life is this, and to be able to just become their friend and let them have friends with us, and just asking a dad, don't you love your daughter so much? Don't you want to see her succeed? And just helping. I think it's time for all of us humanists to help. To help. The ones that need it the most are the ones that we don't want to give it to at all. I promise. But I want to give it to Mac and his new haircut real bad. Actually, I'm just gonna use your girlfriend. It's gonna be by proxy. Okay. She's gonna have headphones on and do what I say. So bend over and get ready.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I'm ready to bend over.
Well, how else did you think this was gonna go?
I should know.
You should have known.
Uh,
I'm just kidding, guys. Mac and I kid about stuff like that. We're not serious.
Not at all.
Yeah, we get allergies about seriousness. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it makes our eyes big. Funny stuff.
Oh, I have some really good news.
I like good news.
Okay, so there is a show called Nonprofits.
Ooh.
It is an ACA show. I was asked to be a permanent floating host. I won't do every single week. I will, because they have 2 hosts, sometimes 3 or 4 hosts each week. And just how Shannon is a floating host for ACA on Sunday and The Line, I'll be a floating host for Nonprofits. And my very first day is December 2nd on the 3rd December 2nd at 3 p.m. Eastern and noon California time. So I'm really nervous. And what's really cool is we had a great conversation, and there was a point in the conversation when what I heard back were wonderful words that I just knew I had to do this. And it was, oh my gosh, you are going to be so perfect for this show. And I was like, ah! So, and nobody's poaching. Just letting you know, you and Ajahn, nobody's poaching. They know that about LEAH and have watched LEAH, and that is one of the reasons why they like, right, and they want to help people go to LEAH. So because we will record our show on Wednesday, it will live stream so people can chat on Thursday. I'll be able to put LEAH in there so they can set their timer. It's just the next day. It's not like a week from now. It's, hey, tomorrow night at 10:30, we're meeting at the League. If you're not part of the League, the cool kids are part of the League. So
yeah. Super cool. Well, congratulations.
Go Christy. Actually, I want to say thank you to all of you guys, because I could sit up here and do this by myself, but I wouldn't be connected to the YouTubes or anything, and I would be a crazy person with cats. So thank you, Mac, and thank you, Nacha, and thank you to our wonderful, wonderful chat. I think that we have the best chat. I just do. Um, each one, and I know a couple left already. I mean, we even have a SIL Trump one. Good for you. Come back. I love you. I'll give you long, awkward hugs. You'll try to squirm away, and I'll tell you, Biden won. Come back. And then I guess there's only one last thing to say. And after how much I love you guys, and stay safe, wear your seatbelts, don't drink and drive, and smoke them if you got them, and stay humanist for God's sake.